Welcome to this 15-minute grounded glutes yoga flow. You won't need any equipment for today, just yourself and perhaps a soft surface beneath you. When you're ready, I'll see you back on the mat. Starting on our mats in Vajrasana, diamond pose, we will roll the shoulders back and down. Perhaps place the hands on your thighs, palms facing up. You might like to close the eyes here. Taking a moment to settle into the body, into the breath. Observing any sensations that may arise. And acknowledging your efforts for showing up today. One more breath. From here we'll clasp the fingers together, roll out the wrists one way and the other, and we'll transition onto all fours into a tabletop position. So our hands and wrists are in line with our shoulders and our knees are in line with our hips. Hips are squared to the front of the mat, ensuring that we're grounding down through the fingertips, through the knuckles. Even distribution of weight, and from here we'll transition into a cat-cow sequence. So on our inhale, we'll scoop the chest forward and exhale, curl and round, drawing the chin towards the chest, flowing with the breath. Exhale, round. Inhale, broadening across the collarbones. Inviting movement and mobility into the posterior chain, the spinal column. One more breath. And from here we will ground down into the left leg as we tuck our right toes under and extend that leg towards the back of the mat. Taking a moment to ground ourselves, ensuring that that leg is engaged and our hips are staying squared. We're not externally rotating our right hip. And on our inhale, we'll float our right leg up. Heel is drawing towards the back of the room. The foot is flexed, toes are pointed towards the mat. You might begin to feel some sensation, activation in that leg. The quadriceps, glutes are firing. Breathing into any tension that may arise. Paying attention to the rest of your body. Are you lengthening the neck, elongating through the crown of the head? Are the shoulders rolled back and down? You may like to stay here or join me in tenting up onto our left fingertips, perhaps walking that left arm out in front and maybe floating the left arm up in line with the body, palm facing towards the midline. Playing around with the balance here, grounding down through the right arm, through the left leg. Focusing on the breath. If you wobble around a little bit, know that that's perfectly natural and it's actually an invitation to familiarize yourself with the correct alignment and where it is that your body finds balance and ease. One more breath, and we'll gently place our left hand back in line under our shoulder. And from here, we'll keep our leg extended as we start some pulses on the right, keeping that right leg flexed. Maintaining activation in the abdominal region, drawing the navel towards the spine. Elongating through the neck. Flowing with the breath. And from here we'll keep our leg extended and hold. Few breaths, really beginning to feel some warming sensations in that right leg. 3 more breaths. And gently lower that right knee down. Taking a round of cat and cow just to clear it out. And from here we'll ground down through the right leg as we tuck the left toes under and extend that leg backwards, taking a moment to square the hips, and on our inhale we'll float that left leg up, drawing the leg back with the heel of the foot. Toes are flexed towards the mat. Being mindful of that breath, mind, body awareness. Are you grounding down through the fingertips, through the palms of the hands? Are you collapsing into the wrists, or are your arms engaged? You might like to stay here, or if you performed it on the other side, perhaps tenting up onto your right fingertips, walking that right arm out in front, maybe leaving it here, or inhaling and floating that arm up in line with the left leg, hand facing, palm facing towards the midline. And again, taking a moment to observe where you find the most stability. You might find that applying a little extra pressure into the thumb and index finger of the left hand helps support you. And we'll lower our right hand and begin pulses on the left side, ensuring that those shoulders are in line with the wrists. The right knee, the leg that's grounded and supporting you, is in line with the right hip. And working on keeping that left hip of the leg that is extended squared towards the mat, not externally rotating. And from here we'll hold a static lift, breathing into any tension. Can you squeeze that leg a little more? Perhaps lift the leg a little higher. 2 more breaths. And from here we will gently lower our left leg down towards the mat as we come into one round of cat and cow to clear it out. And this time we'll go again on the right side, extending our right leg, keeping the toes pointed this time. We'll begin to lift that leg up into a straight leg extension, really squeezing at the glutes and just ever so slightly tapping the ground just for a moment, and then bringing that leg right back up. Focusing on squaring the hips. You might like to close the eyes here and really focus on the sensations that are going on inside, or perhaps finding a dristi. One more lift, and from here we'll keep our leg elevated as we flex at the knee and come into our tiger curls, keeping that knee level with the hips, level with the torso, just gently flexing and extending that leg. Now you don't have to extend it all the way. You could create a little micro bend just to protect the knee joint from any hyperextension. Really feeling this along the posterior length of the leg. Once more, and we'll come down onto our forearms this time, and we'll go again, same move, starting off with the pointed toe, straight leg extension, finding a little bit more balance and support as we press down through the lateral edges of our forearm, giving our wrists a bit of a break, using our fingertips for support and engagement. Really ensuring that we're protecting our lumbar and sacral regions of the spine here, keeping that navel drawn towards the spine, not overarching with that extension, finding your natural range, and we'll transition into the tiger curls, flowing with the breath, keeping that leg up, being mindful of the neck and the shoulders. Are they rolled back and down, or are you hunching them towards one another? Once more, and we'll come down into a tiger kickback, just ever so gently tapping that right knee down onto the mat and flexing that leg right back up. I'm really beginning to feel some sensation in that right thigh, the right hip, the glutes, the quadriceps, the hamstrings, all working together to stabilize you and help you strengthen the pelvic region. Once more, and we'll transition into a child's pose just for a moment, observing the breath, allowing those hips to sink back towards the mat, perhaps resting the forehead on the floor. One more breath, and from here we will gently transition up into our tabletop position, taking a moment to ground down, roll the shoulders back, and we'll go on the left side. So gliding that left leg out as we ground down through the right leg, toe pointed. We begin with those straight leg extensions, ensuring that that left hip is slightly internally rotated as we keep our legs squared to the mat. We're not opening at the hip. And just tapping that foot down for a moment and bringing it right back up. The greater the range of motion, the more results you are going to see, the more results you're going to feel. Flowing with the breath. And here we'll stay up and transition into our tiger flexion and extension. Again, really being mindful of not hyperextending and locking that knee with every extension, just a gentle and controlled movement. Really working on keeping that left leg, the leg that is in the air, in line with the torso, with the hips, keeping it elevated. Flowing with the breath. Breathe through it. We're not here for long. Once more. And from here we'll bring our knees down as we come onto our forearms, going right back up into those single leg extensions, providing a little bit more support as we ground down through our forearms, allowing the wrists to relax, really focusing our awareness on our left leg. Can you squeeze those glutes a little more when you extend that leg? Can you go a little higher while still maintaining correct alignment, protecting your back, your core? Keeping that leg extended, we'll transition into our tiger flexion and extensions. Once more being mindful of the knee joint. Controlled movements. You've got this. Flowing with the breath. Maintaining length in the neck, relaxing the facial muscles. Twice more. And from here we'll gently lower our knee down as we come into our tiger curl kickbacks. Just bringing that knee down to the mat for a moment and lifting that glute, that leg right back up. Squaring at the hips. Can you squeeze a little more when you lift that leg? Using those forearms, the shoulders, the hands, the wrists for support. You've got this. Twice more. And from here we'll transition into child's pose, sinking those hips back. Enjoy this. We'll be here for one moment. From here we're going to transition into tabletop for our final sequence, grounding down through the left leg, flexing the right foot. We're going to externally rotate that hip as we open our leg out to the side, maintaining a flexion at the knee. We'll be here for 20 lifts. Flowing with the breath, going at your own time. If you ever need to come out of it and rest in child's pose, that's perfectly fine. Last exercise on the right leg, we're going to keep that right leg up and pulse. Remember to breathe, we're not here for long. Grounding down through the left leg, through the palms, the fingers. Once more, and we'll swap sides. Final exercise, flexing that left leg, grounding down through the hands and the right leg as we begin to open our left hip out to the side, keeping the knee flexed, lifting up and bringing the inner thigh back to the midline. The more you engage those inner thighs when the legs join together, the greater the effort and results you are going to notice. Lifting with the breath, really keeping that foot flexed to protect the knee joint. We're not here for long. Keep it up and pulse. Last exercise. You've got this. Last 3, 2, 1, and relax. Roll the shoulders back, and from here we are going to transition into a pigeon pose, really working on stretching the outer hip, the glutes, and the hip flexor of the left leg. Ensuring that the right knee is in line with the right heel, shin is parallel to the front of the mat, toes are pointed backwards, hips are squared. You might like to walk your hands out in front of you, perhaps making fists with your hands as a pillow, or you might like to extend the palms out in front, resting your forehead on the mat. You might like to use a block here if that's more comfortable. And I invite you to pause the video and stay here for as long as you like. Otherwise, you can join me now as we gently make our way back up onto our hands, tucking the back toe under, and we'll swap sides to a left-legged pigeon. Once again, trying to ensure that the shin is parallel with the short edge of the mat. Toes are pointed towards the back of the room, hips are squared to the front of the room, and maybe walking down onto forearms. Or resting your head on the mat, whatever works for you. You might notice some variances in your comfort and ability to move with ease in these postures from one side to the other, and that's natural. This could be an opportunity to spend a little more time on the side that's feeling tighter, working on correcting any postural imbalances. One more breath. And from here we will transition up into a seated position, Sukhasana, Siddhasana, keeping the eyes closed. And we'll extend our arms skywards, joining our palms together. Exhale, lower them together at heart center. And taking 3 cleansing breaths to close the practice. In through the nose, out through the mouth. One more breath. Namaste.